Hello there. Thank you so much for still staying with us. Yes, with me, Malaki Vilodera and Romeo Busiku. We're getting into some parenting conversation, but before we delve into that, I'd like to shout out our social media soldiers. We have Moses Blessed Wamala, always watching us. Thank you so much. You're saying good morning. Wamala Richard, you're saying thank you for the amazing show. You're welcome. We also have Olivia Angesa. Good morning. Good morning to you too. Bomera Yusuf, you're saying good morning, NTV. Good morning to you too. Stephen Buire, we also have Peter Aleka, we have Kadembe Harriet, thank you so much. We also have Kabenga Jimmy Wamala, thank you so much. Namayanja Sandy, thank you so much. Joseph Oriedo, Zaina Komuhendo, we also have Fana Nyende, Patrick Muheki and Peter Muheki as well, Joe JJ, Kasaja Musoke, Jeff Hadi. Can I read you all? Yes. We also have Prince Onyera. Thank you so much. Kasule Frank. Salute, sir. We also have Richard Singer, Wamala Richard again, Kawoya Agnes, Carl Felovic. Amazing name. We also have Hakim Bawanji. Thank you so much, Susan. You're saying you're loving the show. Thank you. Thank you so much for always tuning in. You can stream us live. We are live on Facebook and YouTube pages. That's NTV Uganda. And you can also find the Morning at NTV live stream just under there. All right. And you can tag us at hashtag Morning at NTV. And that's across all the social media platforms. Now let's delve into our parenting conversation now. Many parents have become too busy to take care of their children. Many insist on restricting their toddlers to cartoons on TV or to mobile phones and games alike. Eventually, some end up online and so on, as you all know the effects of that now. But the question of some sleeping, actually some asking, is that whether this is likely to be dangerous to our children in the long run, including matters to do with addiction. Now, to help us navigate this conversation, Romeo.
Indeed, to help us navigate this conversation, we are joined by the founder and CEO, that's Miss Mlondo Pakuto Manuela. Did I get it right?
Almost.
Good morning and welcome to Morning at NTV.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Manuela.
Thank you so much for
So she's the founder, she's the CEO of Credo Daycare Center in Tinder, so I believe pretty much she is the right person to banter with regards to anything related with children.
Yes.
Now, Miss Manuela, now
Yes.
is it dangerous to keep our children glued to TV sets, mobile phones? And why? Because anyway, as a parent, I understand you're busy, you have these social and work pressures. So why are we pulling these gadgets away from the children? Why is it so dangerous?
One, the only reason you would say it's dangerous, the only reason you would want to pull away technology is when your child is, one, being addicted, or two, that technology is replacing you as a parent, because ultimately you're the one that is supposed to be parenting your child. But immediately technology takes that place. So say, for example, a child is crying, you give them the phone. You're taking away what you're supposed to do with your child. Now you are, technology is the one helping you. The child is, especially when children are crying, we like to do that. Like just put any quick cartoon and then put in a child's face. Now, instead of you as a parent sitting down with your child and asking questions like, why are you crying? What exactly is going on? How can I help? Instead of finding out what exactly is going on with your child, your phone has taken that place.
Indeed.
Or technology has taken that place. That's when it becomes dangerous, because then your child lacks social skills. Their language skills are reduced to almost a zero, because anytime they want to cry, no one is talking to them. They just have something that is shouting at them. The other thing about technology is it takes away imagination, especially TV. It takes away imaginations, the gift of imagination from a child's creativity. So ultimately, a child is born to discover. That's what they do. That's what they do best. So climbing up your tables, climbing up your chairs, climbing up trees. Children don't know trees these days. But climbing up trees, doing those things that help them discover their environment.
You know,
you
talked of discovery and TV depriving our children of that critical aspect, and also the aspect of imagination. You know, we were having this conversation about the importance of reading books, and you know, the beauty of books, you start imagining, you know, this scenario, this particular picture. But the question has been, giving my child this gadget quickly and them discovering that other, you know, planet, so to speak, in form of a cartoon is easier. But now someone would ask, if books are the right way to go, how do we start, you know, teaching our children to embrace books more?
I mean, I had an opportunity to share my view on technology and our children, and I was saying that, you see, as long as you have a child under the age of 8, and you plan to have children in the next 15 years, yeah, your child is from a generation called Alpha generation. Sometimes they call it iGen, Gen Next,
Generation X.
Generation Next. Not Generation Next, but
Generation
iGen. Yeah, no, this Gen Z is before the Alpha generation. The Alpha generation are the children of the millennials.
So that's how liberals have chosen to raise their children.
No,
I've
not yet come. I've not yet reached there even. I'm saying that you see us as millennials and how we've disrupted the entire ecosystem of our world. Imagine what our children are going to do.
Correct.
So they are called the Alpha generation. Why? This generation is going to be the most technologically infused generation. They are coming into a world where everything is technology. This is the first generation that has been born entirely in the 21st century. Most generations, some have in some centuries before, but this one is the only one in the 21st century entirely, the whole lot of it.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, for them, they don't know a world without technology. They don't know these stories of ours at Iseltel long ago. Do you remember when only one person had a phone on the village? They don't know that world. They've been born into a world where mom has an iPad, an iPhone, daddy has a laptop. They both have laptops. So this is the world that they have actually grown up in. Trying to remove technology from them is like what our parents did to us when we were in S6. They were telling us, read, read, you have to pass your exams, read. While Mark Zuckerberg was in his dorm hall with a laptop, inventing face mash. So when you take away technology from that child, this is the generation they are coming to, and I want to tell the viewers, the generation your child is born into is a technologically advanced world. You see how all we talk about is SIM card, MBs, I want GBs, what their vocabulary will be biochemical, biomedical, nanotechnology, those big, huge words that us, we are not even ready to learn.
So what should
right
parents
now
do to keep up?
I'm glad you asked, because that is a conversation that we should now be having. The question is, when you give your child an iPad, what are they doing on the iPad? So you see, you said we want to read, our children to read. Install books
on
the iPad.
Okay.
Because technology is not going to leave their world. That's the truth. Yeah. So you have your physical books, but you also have this book that is on their iPad that they can actually flip, because technology is not going to leave their world.
But Manuela, let me ask you this. I'll tell you, I'm also a mother of 2. And they're very, very, you know, they just love to discover. I'm always wary when I give them any of my gadgets. You know what? Because I don't know if I step out for just 1 second what they will do. And kids nowadays are actually, you know, technologically savvy than us. Than us, by the way. A 2-year-old, you'll be shocked. They actually know how to maneuver the phone more than you, the owner of that particular phone. So how do you go about?
I'm actually not shocked, because that is what they are supposed to be. That is who they are supposed to be. It's not, you shouldn't, no parent should be shocked. In fact, parents should stop saying, can you imagine? He got an iPhone and he knew where to go. He is supposed
to know. Now, let me ask you.
That is who they are.
Right. So
now,
how, over and above that, and that fact,
yes,
how do we go about making sure that they actually don't go to some sites or some content that is not age appropriate for them?
That is why people like now, I mean, places like YouTube have come up with YouTube Kids for a reason. That one, they can get ready or get themselves equipped with how to use a channel like YouTube, but in a YouTube Kids version. So there's things like parental controls. And it is your duty as a parent to instill these parental controls
In my phone.
on your phone.
Okay.
If not, get your child their version of a phone. Yeah? In my home, our children have iPads.
Their phones, right.
They have iPads, 4 years and 6 years. I will tell you for a fact, my 4-year-old destroyed her iPad. What was my duty as a parent at that point? Because now she still wants my phone. I said, no, you did not take responsibility of your iPad. And for that matter, you're going to wait out an entire year before you get another iPad until you learn to use an iPad, right? So I am not the parent who says, a road is dangerous, so let me hide my kids from crossing the road. And I'm not that parent who says, oh, the road is dangerous, but anyway, they still have to cross the road. So go out and try and learn how to cross the road. No, I am saying as a parent, I'm going to walk my children to the side of the road and say, guys, you see these cars? They're dangerous. You see these cars? If any knocks you, you will die. So this is what we do when we get to a road. We step on the side, and for in the case of Uganda, we look left, look right,
And
Left
look
again.
left again. If there is no car,
You pass.
you cross. If
Right.
there is a car, you wait. Then again, you look left, look right, look left again, no car, cross.
So that analogy,
That's an analogy you
That-
use
yeah.
in technology.
and that is putting the parental guidance
That's
kind of
putting it-
things
yes, and
inside
you
the phone.
explain, you say, you see, on this phone, what is the internet? Explain to your child what the internet is. And tell them what the internet does. Because they need to know. They have to know. That is their, and if you don't tell them, their friends will tell them.
Of course.
And guess what
And they'll
their
learn the hard
friends
way.
will be telling them. So it is you now as a parent to charter the course for your child in this journey of technology. So you say, this is what the internet does, this is the information it gives you. But right now, there's certain information that I don't think you should be getting as a child. So I am going to put something called parental
Control.
guidance or parental control.
Right.
And it is a password. And if you want to go past this site, it will stop you. I also, on our children's iPads, it gives them a timeout. So after
That's
30 minutes,
critical, yes.
done.
Done.
It's off.
Yeah.
And when it's off and they are done, I say, so what did you learn? And then they say, I would ask, what were you watching? They say, I was watching this cartoon, which did what? It went this and it went to the sea. Oh, what was it doing in the sea? I ask, oh, do you know what the sea is? No. Oh, yes. Now is my opportunity to teach.
Okay.
So I go with my son, I go with my daughter, I say, let me show you where the seas are.
Okay.
We open a globe, we look at the seas around the continent, then we go, what is the water in a sea? What does it...
So that way technology doesn't take your place.
No, it
Good.
doesn't.
All right.
It doesn't.
Well, Manuela, I was reading an article in the CNN, and they were saying that millennials, liberals, have abandoned their parental roles. Now they're using technology to replace their parental roles. Like a parent might come into the house, find a child crying, give them a laptop or an iPad or do something. Now that is exchanging your role as a parent and substituting it using technology. And they were saying that conservatives have stuck to the old way of doing things, encouraging their children to be more outdoors, more outdoors. Now this is on the parent when it comes to technology. If the parent is technologically savvy, they would want their child to be technologically savvy too. If a parent is a conservative, they would want to instill those conservative values into the child. Now, me myself, while I was growing up, we were encouraged to be outdoors. I had a catapult, Butida. We would go hunting, bird hunting, we would do a lot of things. But then right now, many children are spending a lot of time on the screens, watching TV. And I attribute this to the parents who are encouraging this kind of behavior because they've grown up in this technological kind
Era.
of setting. So they feel like their children too should grow up in the same setting. So what are the likely implications of having our children spend too much time on television?
Kind of like I said earlier, you're killing your child's imagination. You're killing their creativity. You're also ultimately you're removing yourself from your child's life. So one day when they're 12 years old and they want to have absolutely nothing to do with you, you can't blame it on anyone except
And
yourself.
that brings me to my next question. What solutions would you recommend?
So kind of like I'd said earlier, your technology is not a bad thing. Yeah. And like I said for the road, don't just let your child go. Use technology as they feel. No. Your role as a parent is to walk the journey of technology with them. Know exactly why you want technology in your child's life. And for me, the reason is because I want my children to reach 100% of their potential. And that 100% of their potential is only going to be reached if they can use technology, especially because of the world they are going to exist in. They are coming into a world where technology is going to replace everything. Where will my children fit in if they don't know how to manage technology?
Right.
Where? How? Right now, we're going to a place where schools will no longer need to teach children how to write. So you've spent so much time teaching your child how to write. Yet, a computer has the letters. So why in your mind, why are you beating your child's fingers right now to make them try to write well? Yet they are going to use computers.
But
Should
Manuela,
they be spending time?
isn't that important? Just making sure that well, you and I have young children, and we know that it's important for them to start having a grip over the pen, over a pencil, how to learn about coloring within the borders of a picture, and all this critical basic skills that they need to just make sure that their motors and their grip and all these other things physically mature as well and grow. So isn't that important, especially at that particular age? So at what age should you introduce technology to our children?
So let me tell you, I was like you. I was exactly like you, and I held back on technology for a while until I realized that the life of my child is a life of technology, whether I like it or not, by virtue of the fact that we had children at this time in our lives. That is their life, that is their world. So now, instead of trying to do that off a pencil and a pen, there is an iPad with a writer where they can actually color. They use one writer, pick a color within on their iPad. Think about it. You have the iPad and you have the paper and pen. You have colors and you have a color. Where is the difference except for the screen?
Okay. So that's the only difference.
That's the only difference.
This is on a gadget and this other one is on a paper.
Exactly. So you as a parent, like I said, the book is a book. Right now, the book is going on to the iPad. You can't take technology away from their lives. That's just what I've realized, and that's what I'm saying.
So at what age is it proper for you to just be okay with giving them and introducing them to technology? At what age?
When is your child most interested?
Ah, that should be the telltale sign.
Okay. They lead you. They show you. You're on your phone. They're interested in your phone. When my children get onto our phone, we discuss what is on the phone. So they get me on Facebook. I said, this is Facebook. This is where I meet many friends. So like right now, and I get it in the simplest way to explain to them what's going on. I say, so Facebook is a place where many of my friends, we come together and we talk about different topics. So they say, topics? What are topics? So topics is like now the topic we're having is what is on my phone.
Right.
Oh, so I can have a topic like, what am I going to do at school? I say yes. So I can write here and everybody who is my friend can see that I have written about this topic, and then they can comment. They say, hey, so you're many people talking at the same time. Then I say, yes. I say, but you see, this place, sometimes there's people who don't like you very much. And sometimes you'll say something and they'll say something bad back at you.
Right.
So what do you do when someone says something bad at you? You say, someone says, my little girl is on, says, I don't care. You see, and then my little boy says, but mommy, it's painful. I say, so well, that person, you can actually block them. You can block someone. I say, yes. And you go on the phone and say, now I'm going to block daddy just for now. So you show them that I can block. Oh, then I can unblock. Yeah. And then you don't take away technology from them. That is their life. That is what's going to be a part of them.
But the bottom line is make sure you're part and parcel of that process.
Because if you're not, by virtue of the fact that that's going to be their world, if you're not, somebody else is going to do it.
Right.
So it's like that sex talk that we had when we were younger. We were ultimately going to have sex.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Now it just mattered who was going to talk to you about sex.
Right.
And tell you when it is in the right peripheral and when it is in the wrong peripheral, when it is right to do it, when it is wrong to do it. So if you as a parent decide that, sexy, I will not talk. That's exactly what you're doing with technology.
Right.
Now is a time for you to sit down with your child and be able to. I mean, the other day we're just having a conversation about who's a person who's gay and who's not. Why? They looked onto the screen and my son asked me, but mommy, why is that girl like a boy?
Right.
I immediately switched off.
And you had to explain.
We sat down and we talked and we said, you see, there's people who, when God has made you a male,
They want to
feel
be something
comfortable
else.
being a female.
Right.
But why? I say, well, I don't know. I still don't know. And you're able to explain to them as a parent, because if you don't,
Yeah. The world
somebody else will, because that's the world that they are going into.
Mala, I'm really glad we hosted Manuela to have this conversation because she's trying to help us debunk some of the issues related with raising children. Because in the past, we've been told that technology is absolutely bad for our children. Even 5% of the time would be catastrophic for the children. But now you're coming out and saying, you know what? A little bit of technology can actually help you raise your child into the right direction. Because in the past, we've also had reports coming in, articles being written that, hey, you know what? Meat is bad for you. Eat veggies. Now they're telling us, actually, veggies are bad for you. Eat more meat.
Yeah.
So it's confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing.
And I'm glad you came to help us debunk some of these issues. Now, besides technology, which is curtailing our children from fulfilling their best potential, what other factors are limiting our children from fulfilling their utmost potential?
One of the things that I talk about is something called child brain stimulation, and I've just kind of explained it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just be in a place where you're asking your child questions. So what holds our children back is how we talk with our for me, that's the number one, because it's just the foundation. We are the ones that hold our children back. So I'll give you an example. My son absolutely loves cars, but it's the cars that helped us teach him shapes, helped us teach him colors, helped us teach him almost everything that he knows, because he loves cars. We did not tell him that the only way he can learn the shape square or circle was on a piece of paper. No, it happened with the thing that he loves the most, which is the cars. And my role at that point was to walk him through that journey. If I go now and tell him, draw a circle, it's easy for him to draw a circle because he remembers the cars that he put in a circle at home, like on a roundabout, and then it's easy, very easy for him to draw. The second way I think us as parents hold our children back is we don't help our children apply what they learn. So I kind of gave you an example of what goes on in our homes when you watch a cartoon. If you sit down as a parent and take away all the funny things that are happening on the cartoon and just listen, just keenly listen to what is happening on that cartoon, you would be shocked. The language that is used, it's very advanced. You'd be shocked the language, the themes that they are working with. So you'll find that they're working with a theme on, say, for example, space.
Right.
Your child is watching some guys go into space. And you as a parent, you don't even know anything
About space.
about space.
Right.
How exactly are you going to help your child? Because now for me, I say, What have they been watching? Oh, it's about space. What do I know about space? Nothing. Google. Space. Oh, okay. Then I go onto YouTube. How to teach your child about space. Oh, okay. So there are some boy experiments. Oh, wow. So what can I do? Okay. We're about space. Okay. Hi, guys. What did you learn today when you're watching? What was happening? Who's that man? Where is he going? What is he doing? He's going to space. Do you know where space is? That no. Let's go outside. What do you think is up there?
The galaxy, the stars, the sun,
So
the
that
moon.
you start to apply what they are watching on TV, what they are learning in school, to actual life. Because we
Right.
have realized as parents that our own education system failed us. We can't apply. But we can't go complaining forever.
You
We
have
have
to
to
do
be at a
something
place
on
where
your
we
own.
have to do something about
Okay,
it.
all right.
So, Manuela, you've explained to us what the role of the parent should be when it comes to raising their child. Now, let's get the parent out of the picture. I'm talking about environmental factors that might be affecting our children and holding them back from fulfilling their utmost potential. What are some of those factors? Besides the parents not being involved in the lives of their children, what other environmental factors could be involved?
I mean, things like right now we stay in in an environment where it's only us and our kids, and yet we were raised in environments where we had butidas, we were playing dul, yeah. That's not happening for our children. Our children don't even know how to climb trees. So our home environments are holding back our children, and we need to be in places where we are telling people like KCCA, don't cut down trees, and give our children the opportunity to climb those trees and not think that, oh, they will fall and bruise and hurt themselves. That is who they are. They are children. Their lives, I don't want to say it badly, but they are
I
for
get your
falling
point,
down.
yes. I get your point.
That is what they will do, and that is how they will learn. So the environment, your home environment is one factor, but also their school environment.
Okay.
How are they working with your child to get them to their full potential?
You know, and I love what you're saying is that it's not just about being there as a parent, especially just trying to connect everything to technology and all these other facets as parenting and making sure that this child grows up to be 100%. Number one, on technology, you say that it's okay, but there has to be limits, and bottom line, the parent has to be part and
Involved.
parcel of that particular process. And it shouldn't take away other things. Like you said, your son loved cars. Now, because of that, now he can clearly and perfectly draw a car, knows the shapes and colors, which is critical. So toys should not go away.
No.
Let them stay. Trees and the spaces still need to remain. The games are also still important. Now, let's talk about, you know, the timeouts. And in a day, we have pretty much 8 clean hours where our kids have that freedom after school and stuff like that to engage, maybe if it's a neighborhood with children, or just stay at home with TVs, where a majority actually fall in.
Yes,
Yeah, and the
yes.
parents are not yet at home.
Yeah.
Now, with the timeouts, what is the appropriate time to say that, hey, it's 1 hour or 2 hours of TV, 1 hour or 2 hours of iPad? Because I read somewhere whereby they were saying at 6 years, your child has already developed a temperament, their personality, whether choleric, sanguine, phlegmatic, melancholic. It's already set. At 6 years, there's nothing you can do. That child is gone. Their personality is set. So with regards to all this, how do you get to ensure that, hey, they're not so, you know, kept aside because they were just, you know, about technology and indoors? How do you make sure that you have timeouts, and what are these timeouts? What's the time frame for this?
So actually, your child's character is set in stone right from birth, not even at 6 years. It's just that at 6 years, that's when you realize. But
Yeah.
other than that, you'll see a feisty baby right from...
Right.
from-
And at
from
6 years,
even-
it's too late. There's
No,
nothing you can
for
change.
you can't even change a person's character, essentially. All you can do is to help them manage their character. Like, my child is choleric and sanguine, my daughter. So, and that is exactly who I am. So knowing fully well where I'm at right now and the things that I've had to learn, I'm now starting to do it with my daughter early, such that by the time she grows and she's in public and she's not struggling the way I struggled.
Indeed.
That aside, in terms of how to
Time
manage
outs,
your
yeah.
time, what the timelines are like for your child. Like you said, there's 8 hours. Okay, so we have 24 hours in the day. 8 hours are for sleeping, 8 hours are for working, so essentially maybe that's school,
That's school.
and 8 hours are personal time. So for us at home, Because we know we are in an environment where there's just our children, when our children are done with school, they first go to an environment with other children.
Okay.
They've been at school, but it's been a learning environment and a playing environment, but now we want to get them into an environment. So because of the cradle, so they come from school, come to the cradle, play with the children, help out the child carers, so that they're
Oh, that's nice.
so that they're learning more than just so they come into the cradle for about 2 hours. We go home. When they get home, they're doing their own personal care. So taking off their clothes, preparing the clothes for the next day, taking a shower, however bad it might be in terms of a shower, they go take their shower, come in, put on their pajamas, help me with dinner, or help their dad with dinner. We sit down, we have dinner, and then we watch TV.
Together. Okay.
So they watch TV. It's usually 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah, after they're done with TV, then we talk about what they watched. Like I said, so then I'll say something like, so would you guys like to do something about, let's say they've been watching and we've seen a concept of space. So would you guys like to do something on Saturday about space? And they'll say, yes! So in my mind, now I go the whole week, I'm on YouTube knowing I have some kind of experimental work to do with my children over the weekend about space. But they are very excited about it, knowing that is what they watched and it's going to help their understanding. If it was something about the sea, then I know Saturday, Sunday, that is. So now when you come to our home on Saturday and Sunday, we are all about projects and experiments, just getting what we did through the week and putting it now into practical sense.
Right.
As a parent, I feel that there's no, so after we've watched TV and we've talked about it, then we'll pray and go to bed.
Right.
So usually they're in bed by 8 o'clock and up again. The usual.
So what I'm getting
usual
from you is that parenting has to be deliberate.
It's right
need
now
to plan
yes,
everything
right now we are
out.
dealing with intentional parenting. You have to be intentional as a parent. So when I go, I know right now what we are going to do over the weekend. So when I go to a restock, I'm not there just asking, is there anything like that? No. I'm actually very intentional, knowing fully well that my children were very interested in Paw Patrol, and the theme that was being taught on Paw Patrol was the sea.
Now, Manuela, as we wrap up, let's talk about parents who are not using technology to raise their children. They're conservatives. You've made it categorically clear that you raise your children with technology because that's the generation you grew up in. But they're conservatives.
And that's the future
That's
as well.
the future, actually.
But conservatives have been resisting this technological advancement, whatever it is. For them, they're still using rudimentary methods to raise their children. Now, what advice would you have for the conservative out there who's not using technology to raise their children? How best can they do it to help their children reach their fullest potential?
One, it's just a personal opinion. I don't think their child will be able to reach their absolute 100%.
Yes.
But I think they need to have a plan for when technology will come into.
Let's say technology, because they are technology is there, but they are resisting it. So how best can they use their rudimentary methods, those archaic ways of raising children? How best can they channel those ways to help their children?
So for me, ultimately, what I would say is they might resist technology, but they know it's coming. So what are the things they need to prepare their children for before technology? So what are the topics, for example, that they, like I said, crossing the road? What is their left, their right, their left again uncrossed? So for example, you know fully well that in technology they are going to be bullied. So right now you should be working with your child on how to stand up for themselves. You know that internet and technology gives them access to certain kinds of information. So right now you should be having conversations with your child about what information is right and what information is wrong.
Say that, okay, I'm talking about a situation where there are no gadgets in the house.
No, there are no gadgets. I'm
completely.
talking no gadget whatsoever. I'm just saying that, hey, when someone comes and tells you that A is right over B, come and talk to me. I'll tell you the right answer. I'm not there at that point. You're not preparing them for you're preparing them for technology, but there's no gadget there. All you're saying is, when the time comes and they get onto their phone, and their phone is saying information A over B, they should come to you as a parent and say, but man, on this phone, later in life, I found A over B, and you told me if I find A over B, I should come and ask you. So here I am. So essentially, you've prepared them for a life without technology. You're preparing them for a life without technology, but knowing what technology is going to do. So like I've said, it will give you information. If I don't want to live without saying something.
Something
That
for the
if
parents
it-
in
yes,
40 seconds.
yes,
All of them.
that if-
Liberals and conservatives alike.
yeah, liberals and conservatives alike, is that the world that they are coming into is big and it's dangerous.
Right.
They are going to have access to all the 7 billion people around the world. Before, it was just the people of the Kalo in Kamocha. Now, your child is going
7.6
to have
billion.
your child is going to have access to all of those people. They're going to have access to opinions of people. How are you preparing them now? Apart
Okay.
from having technology and having, for most of us, it's our house girl who's doing it.
Right. Intentional parenting.
Manuela Mulondo, the CEO and founder of the Credo, a daycare center in Ntinda. We've been bantering, raising children using technology and without using technology. How best can you do it? I bet she has been very helpful to all the parents out there watching. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
At this juncture, we are now going to link